All right, guys, we're going to do a Bible study. You know what I talk about. Normally I do my Bible studies in the morning. In fact, I did my personal one. I just had too many things on my heart today. I kind of just living a real life, a real life. And, this channel is really just the things that blow my hair back, the things that really are just about me. I guess it's as simple as that. And so these are things I love. Like, for example, I found this guy at the Santa Monica Pier. I thought I was going to pick some music. I was going to talk about Exodus 23. I found something in here a long time ago I wanted to share with you. And it's something I've been thinking about. And I thought, I've never really heard a lot of people talk about it. So let me just share it on. Anyway, music. Terry Prince, Love Heals. Pick this guy's stuff up. In fact, this is where you can reach him. I'm just a big believer in independent music. I'm not sure if he has a label or not, but I know he's really talented. I heard him at the Santa Monica Pier. It says, without love, I feel lost, I feel empty. Boom. So that's his ministry. And deep down, he's he has a pastoral voice. And I know we don't like those words, pastor and prophet. We definitely don't like prophet. If you're like me, kind of the way you grew up, we didn't really have prophets. We were very suspicious. I grew up in a very, very old school. Basically think of a bunch of Baptists, and then take away, like, the people the Baptists are scared of. That's the group that I grew up with. So it's just a very, very cultish, I would even say, just a religious upbringing that I would not want anybody to experience. So there's a couple things that I did not hear a lot of. And this is kind of, again, this YouTube channel is about me being a voice to people I didn't have. Maybe I'm giving business advice, business consulting, doing a Bible study. I might even tell you some jokes, some LOLs, baby. So anyway, Exodus 23. I guess, what would we call this video? I think you would say, I think most people who are a Christian, in fact, let me just kind of talk about that for a second. Christian, that's such a big term. It's like saying you're an American. And I'm not trying to be divisive here, but, for most people, their Christianity, their faith is not really a part of their life. It's more of just, it's almost like saying, yeah, I'm from Oklahoma. There's some people that are really, really proud of their Oklahoma heritage and they really believe in it, okay? So when I talk about the Christian faith, I'm talking about those people who are really, really pressing into God. They're really dependent on God. They're leaning on God. They're asking God for his counsel. They seek his face. And there's a big difference between someone who seeks God's face and somebody who seeks just the title Christian. So this is really this channel, or me. I'm a person who really, really believes in seeking the presence or pursuing the presence of God, and that's not always an easy journey. In fact, the book of Exodus is all about the journey out of bondage. Okay, and if you remember, God kind of put people in the Garden of Eden, and then blah 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 blah. He moves them out, and then as he moves them out, he's healing them. And it's a really, really weird story because, God didn't just zap them to success. He didn't zap them with, you don't read any verse where it's like, and then boom, everything is amazing and awesome, and then here's your new crib and your 4 whips and blah. It's not like that. No, I think it's more of like Hollywood. In fact, I think one of the reasons why people don't have an honest view of the Bible is because, honestly, there's too much pastoral voice in the church, and there's not enough prophet voice. And the prophet voice is sometimes a hard voice. It's the voice of challenging you, whereas a pastoral voice is a voice of comfort. And I don't want to go into like the prophetic voice and all that stuff here, but think of like Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen's a great example of a pastor. He's a pastor's pastor, just like Rick Warren. These guys are comforters. They're going to comfort you into loving God. Rick Warren, I believe he just has a lot of wisdom. Then there's the prophet. And the prophet's, he has some problems because the prophet is kind of the guy, I think the shortest way to explain the difference between a pastor and a pastor wants you to go to heaven. A prophet doesn't want you to go to hell. Okay? So let me put that in more relevant terms. A pastor just wants you to get a nice job and be happy and listen to your wife and maybe get a nice car and take a vacation. He wants you to be happy. A prophet wants you to live out of your essence. A prophet's going to be like Robin Williams in Carpe Diem, where he's like, I will sound my barbaric yawp. That's a prophet. There's a very big difference between a pastor and a prophet. So anyway, you can kind of guess which one I am. And I think we all are. I think we're, if we pursue God's presence, I think we're called to really, we have a leaning towards more of a pastoral, comforting, or a prophet. Anyway, prophet, here we go. So here's Exodus 23, and I want to just give you 3 words here. I've spent 5 minutes with my intro, and here we go. And it says, this is God talking to the people. And he says, and this is so interesting, and I want to just spend a little bit of time here, because you might be right here going, when, God, when? Ever pray those prayers like, when, God, when? God, when are you going to help me? I mean, some of the Psalms where it's like, make haste to answer me. Again, these are longing, prophetical prayers. I think I just made a word up, but and again, I don't want to hit that point too many times, but I want to let you know that it's okay when you have challenges. And again, the pastor, he just wants you to be comfortable. And he's not going to really talk to you a lot about challenges. He's just going to tell you about all the hope. Well, the prophet's going to get into Exodus like I am, and he's going to say, okay, let's talk about why you're not taking the land and why you're not moving into it. And sometimes the prophet can kind of be an asshole, can kind of be a little too direct. But here you go. It says, this is God saying, I will not. So he's driving the people out of bondage. And God says, I'm not going to eliminate all your challenges and your enemies because you're not strong enough. He's literally saying you're not strong enough to take the land. And he's like, you're not strong enough to take the land. And if I drove all your enemies out, then you're not strong enough to hold it. You're not strong enough to hold it. There needs to be some development. And then he says, little by little, I will drive them out of the land before you. Little by little. And I want you to hear that and see that. The Exodus journey is little by little. Moving from bondage to your calling is little by little. Most of God's moves are little by little. I mean, look at gestation. Look at the maternity thing, 9 months. I mean, give God at least 9 months to do something. There's so many examples of little by little in nature. And we don't really have a place for them. Why? Because we're too kind of hooked into like reality TV, and we're hooked into like, instant stuff. But it says little by little. And I always think it's really interesting. It says the Bible's like, you're not strong enough. Like I'm a newbie comic, and I have a dream. I really want to start doing more comedy, and I want to do more speaking. Man, I get frustrated, My videos aren't good enough, and I'm real self-critical. And I just got to go back to little by little, man. Just little by little, little by little. Get stronger. I remember the first time I took the mic at the Comedy Store in LA, I wasn't strong enough to do a set. Now I've kind of been working on a set, a 10-minute set. And you think about some of these really, really solid people that, have, hours and hours of material. Little by little, baby. Little by little. And I think sometimes we get too caught up in this instant stuff, and we think God's a zing bang. And I've had those moments where God just boom, holla. Here you go, holla. But most of the time, God's a God of process. He's a God of development, growing those muscles, little by little bit. Hope this blesses you. Be patient with yourself. Love yourself, and at the same time, ask yourself, how can I get stronger? And it takes a lot of maturity to say, God, where do I need to be stronger? Man, it takes a lot of maturity to say, God, where do I suck? Just tell me where I suck. And God's gentle. He'll tell you. All right, you guys be good. Little by little, baby.